What's up, everybody? It is me, Robbie Rietze, here to give you guys a quick little video talking to you about my most recent win. So, without further ado, I give you King Vegeta Turbo or Sonic, whatever you want to call it. It was created by the legend himself, Michael Carrick. You guys banned his Invoker deck, so he decided to ban all the other cards that are in the game and make bad cards good. It's ridiculous. It's silly. And I hope Bandai bans this deck in the next 2 weeks before the next regional because it's really stupid. That being said, you'll see a lot of people say it's brainless. You have to make a lot of decisions on when to push, when to ebb, and back off a little bit. And you'll notice that a lot of the interactions, you know, sometimes you do win on turn 2, but frequently, you know, you turn 3, you're going to win. So normal win con, it's just that you can do turn 2. And you want to keep card advantage going, and sometimes your opponent beans and does stuff, so you don't always get that option. So without further ado, here we go. So King Vegeta, it's the leader. If you don't know what King Vegeta does, his auto on the top 5 is he swings with it, and he looks at your top 5, and he's hopefully grabbing you a super combo. That's really the best part about the Unawakened side, because this deck does go so quickly, you're only going to get one swing to look. But if you hit a super combo, great. My opponent hit a super combo in the finals, and he did a total of 3, and I had 0 at the point we went to, I think, turn 3. And so, you know, whoever draws the most super combos in best of 1, pretty likely to win. I luckily started to draw mine at the end of the game, and I survived long enough to do so. In best 2 out of 3, it's not always that case, but it's the same thing. Like, our game is RNG. So, looking at your top 5 is huge. The other big part about this deck is the Young Invader. During your opponent's turn, you get to play one of these little babies. These babies will deal a damage to your opponent, effectively meaning that most opponents start at 7. If you're lucky enough that some opponents will be like Piccolo, who starts at 6, they start at 5. So you can straight up kill them, no problem, on turn 2. If you want to, you can do it turn 1. Like, or force them to awaken. Like, you can just do some shenanigans to them because they just have 2 less life. The other important parts about Young Invaders is it's going to trigger a lot of your cards. You're going to get to take a life during your turn to put a Young Invader on your side, which will trigger some of your bond abilities and, of course, let you use SS Vegeta, switching gears. Switching gears, I've talked about a few times now. If you don't own them, they're like $25. If you want to play competitive in this game, just buy them. It's very, very powerful because you can bottom deck a card to draw 2. So whatever you have too much of that you don't want in your hand, you just get rid of. Or more frequently in this deck, it feels like the baby Young Invaders will just keep popping up in your hand, and you just got to keep putting them back. And you're like, I'd like to draw other cards, so you just do that. Your turn 1 optimal play is actually to go second. You heard it here, folks. That's how you kill on 2. If you go second. Now, most people are thinking, oh, you kill because you go first, and then on turn 2 you have all this energy. No, not the case. What makes it so powerful on turn 2 is your opponent has already taken a damage. Very good. They're at 7 life thanks to one of your Young Invaders. You put this on this side of their field. And then you start your turn. When you start your turn, you charge hopefully something you don't need, especially if you're going to go for it, like a Kaba's Awakening. I charge these all day, or a baby, or my King Piccolo underling if you're not worried about blue. Blue is a problem, so that's why we have 4 of these. But you just go and you immediately cast your 1-drop, which is usually this SSV Vegeta. By putting your card to the bottom, your Young Invader. Now, before you do that, you do summon your Bodyguard Legic. That's the important part. I always forget to do it, like in my videos. But you summon this. So, because your opponent has a Young Invader in play, just go ahead and summon this, and you're just going to keep it on your side of the board. Don't attack with it yet, because he's a 15k body. It's awesome. I think Legends, being the master and creator of the deck, was running 3 or 4 copies. I didn't like that many. I liked Overwhelm better. you're each your own. Like, just do whatever it is that you like to do. Like I said, it's an RNG format, so just whoever draws better. So just do what you think will draw. I had 2, and it did help against a TN player who did, in fact, put a body on his card of the field, and I had done the thing. So then you just immediately bottom deck this card. The reason why you bottom deck this right away is you don't care about the -5, honestly. On turn 2, you'll care about the -5, but on turn 1, they're going to take the critical anyway. And so you just bottom deck it, and you put out this 3-drop. When you put out this 3-drop, he is how you're going to do some crazy shenanigans, and you get to look at your top 5. This goes to the bottom from his side of the board. This comes into play. And then if you're keeping up, that means you have a Legic and you have a Vegeta on your side of the board. If you want to, at this point in time, you can take a life and activate Bond for Mercenary Towers and stuff. Or if you have the God Hand, you can wait because you're going to try to Kaba's Awakening and do some tricks. But we don't want to just go with Heartfelt. So frequently what we'll do is just have those 2 cards. We'll attack with the critical. And probably the best thing you can hit when you hit the critical is then going into this Bardock the Resolute. The reason why is that you'll have 3 battle cards in play. If you have 3 battle cards in play, you can then play Mercenary Tau, attack your opponent. If you're keeping up, that puts them to 5 life. Magic number 5 life. 5 life means they are getting to dangerous death. It also means that the new negates that are very popular out of set 12, 11, 13, I have no clue what set they're out of. I think it's set 13, the same setup for King Vegeta. I got one right here, I can tell you. This is testing opposition, battle evolution booster. Okay, wrong on all accounts. These are very powerful. Green has one, blue has one that they all play. On turn 5, once they're at 5 life, go ahead and attack with Bardock the Resolute to see if you trigger the testing the opposition. If you don't, generally speaking, I don't combo. I just leave it as is and just leave it alone. If they take it, great. Very few people will pay the 2 life, in large part because they've already taken 2 critical. So then 2 more cards, it just puts them in a bad spot. So once they do that and they go to 3, you're going to go ahead and swing with your leader. When you swing with your leader, you're going to look at your top 5 like I had mentioned. Hopefully find a super combo. That's the dream. When you do that, you're going to use Kaba's Awakening, powering up during your attack on your Vegeta. If you get this is the God Hand or the possibility. That'll make you have a 25k Vegeta, and then you'll activate Awakening. When you activate Awakening, you put this card in the drop, and you get to put out your Heartfelt. So now you have enough damage to kill your opponent on turn 1. Yay, fair and balanced. Obviously, Bandai, we don't need this card anymore. I hate to say it. It's cool and all, but it's time for this card to go. Because in that situation, I haven't actually gotten that many cards. If you're keeping track, you only have to hit 1, 2, 3 cards, 4 cards, 4-card combo, 5-card combo on your turn 2, and these 2 you could play 4 of, and this card searches your top 5 for Heartfelt. So it can give you the piece. Now, I'm not saying it's super easy to do. I think I Heartfelted once out of 7 rounds. Obviously, that is not good odds. In fact, I would say it's pretty bad odds. If you were playing this deck, a better version probably would cut the Kaba's Awakenings and the Heartfelt. I don't know if it would be the right call, though, because Kaba's Awakening is actually a phenomenal defensive card. I played this card more often than not on defense because it's very common for someone to swing into you with like a Mercenary Tau. And the reason why you don't defend when you're at 6 life from a Mercenary Tau is that it costs you 2 cards to discard. Because you have to, on defense, you have to be bigger than your opponent. Well, that plus 6k is relevant because effectively this is like a baby pseudo super combo. Very relevant, very good. Highly recommend you keep them in, even if you drop the Heartfelt, in large part for the mirrors. The mirrors will come down to who has more Kaba's Awakening and super combos. I already said it once, but in the finals, he had 3 super combos on turn 2, and I knew I couldn't kill him on my turn 2 because he had 3 and I had 0. And at that point, I stopped attacking and comboing. So I didn't combo anymore. And what I would do is just swing into his leader as a 15k, and then make him combo a card that because nobody wants to go to 2 against King Vegeta. I wasn't running Champa, but he's afraid of it. So I knew it would just make him discard cards. And so that's all I was focused on, was just play a card, attack, play a card, attack. That's all we were doing, trying to get the card advantage going, because he's got 3 super combos that I'm done. Like, that's just it. Resources matter. And some other cool tricks you can do for the kills on 2 and 3, switching gears, and if you can play both of these in one turn, it's amazing. If your opponent if you've awakened with King Vegeta, one of the coolest parts about it is he cuts himself to 5 life. So then you can use Young Invaders during your turn to take the extra life, and then play like a Vegeta that you can attack with, and now your super combos are live. This is relevant, and I did a few times against my opponents on turn 1, after doing all the stuff I talked about, like the Bardock, and I had a critical guy, and that's all I had. I had Bardock, the critical guy, and I think that was it, just Bardock, the critical guy, and so I just swung. He went to 6. I swung with Bardock. He took it. He went to 4. And then I awakened there and did the same thing. This is really relevant because you got to use your super combos early game aggressively to get the rest of the pieces of your combo. This was a mistake. You'll see Belmod Double Devastation. This is a card I expect to be banned. It's not played in any other decks besides degenerate combos that I'm aware of. If anyone has any where it is actually like a balanced archetype that needs it, it's probably going to get banned, I would imagine, soon, because it enables this deck to do stuff it shouldn't. I think, for example, like you play a Mercenary Tau on your turn, you have a Vegeta, and you have something else. You sacrifice the 3 of them and put them in the drop. You play the Belmod, you kill one of your opponent's cards. You needed 3 cards in the drop to activate Overwhelm. Now you have 3 battle cards. You can replay a Mercenary Tau. Like, it just keeps getting ridiculous. And that's what I did versus a TN opponent on turn 1. Was I had 2 Belmods, and I just drew all the pieces for free play. But it's not that easy all the time. I don't want you to think that you're just, turn 1, you're just going crazy hypro with Legic and all these free cast cards. It's kind of the opposite. Frequently, your turn 1 play will just be a chain attack Bardock, or the better play, a chain attack Borgos. And all you'll do is just draw a card and you'll pass your turn for turn 1 after taking a life and purposely failing to find because you don't have a switching gears in your hand. And you don't want to put out your little guys. Usually, we don't put them out just to die. Like, you can, but at 4, it's a little bit scarier. I was running 5. Legends convinced me to go to 4. He was right, because you can bottom deck them. You just need to have 1 in your deck, and then you can put the rest back. But Chain Attack Borgos, there was several games that I played against unique stuff that is very good versus this kind of a deck archetype, like Android 21. Android 21 can ramp on turn 1, so they're already, Hatchiack's going to be online for their turn 2. You're not going to be able to kill them. Okay, it's a big deal, and it was very relevant for our match. So what I did instead on my turn 2, and I had an Awaken, was just played Chain Attack Borgos, drew a card. Played a Mai, drew a card. Passed the Awakened, played another Mai or a Borgos. I can't remember what it was because I couldn't attack anymore. And just trying to generate card advantage that you can use in a later turn to combo with frequently is what this deck tries to do. And then you're going to try to cycle all of your attacks in one turn. What's weird about this deck, and the blue decks I did play against, is Bean can shut you off completely. If your opponent goes double Bean, your whole turn is probably locked out because they're a 25k leader and your whole thing is just being a 20k. Like with one combo. You don't want to combo up to 25. It's just too much resources. I played against the Shenron deck. He used a dragon card I had never seen before. He said it gave him a plus 5k for the turn by paying an energy. And it was actually very hard to kill him as a result, just because you're a 15k deck. You're just trying to just barely hit your opponent. This I killed my opponent with a lot was usually Death Ball on turn 3. So I would do a lot of damage. I couldn't kill my opponent. I didn't want to commit my whole hand. I might have been able to kill my opponent, but I don't know when that right time is in this deck. Like, it was a new deck, new concept. I enjoyed it. But, like, you're a 20k Belmod. And, do you go all in on a 20k swing? Or do you even commit extra cards? Like, when do you do it? So I was a little bit more hesitant. I might have been able to go for wins sooner, but I didn't. And so my opponent would have an awkward situation where I'm at 4 life. I have a giant board. They have to focus on my board over my life. And then I would use the Death Ball with my leader swing to kill. If you guys saw the TN match, he streamed it. I had 2 Death Balls on my turn 2, and I had gotten him to 1 life on turn 1. And he did Dormant Potential, so I just leader swing and, double Death Ball. Like, that's a 25k swing. There's not much your opponent can do about it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that was cute about this deck. Chain Attack Bardock is, of course, removal. One of the cute little tricks this deck can do is it nags your opponent's battle card, and then that lets you play the SS3. So if you only have 2 Saiyans in play, you can attack with Borgos and then summon out this guy during the attack by killing one of your opponent's battle cards, or just nagging it. It doesn't have to kill it. But sometimes you can kill like a 4k on their side of the board or a 5k. And then now you'll meet the bond requirement. And this isn't a when it attacks, it gains the effect. So he'll have critical. That was a cool thing I got to do to people. I saw that the red-green variants of this deck were doing very well as well. I think the difference about the red-green version is that turn 1. Like, that just kind of like just going crazy ham. I don't know if you can do it as well, only because you need to have more green cards in the deck. And besides 4 Belmods, I don't know what else cards you could run that wouldn't disrupt you. Like, obviously, the whole point is to play Piccolo. I think Piccolo is fantastic. But this super combo and the fact that you can tutor for it is much better than Nappa. And I like it. This is what I'm going to play again for the 21st regional. The difference is we're building a anti-version, so it just will eat this version. If you guys want to play this version, just update it, because if you're playing what we play 2 weeks from now, we've already updated it. So just keep that in mind. But this deck can win even if your opponent has cards for it. Like, this is, like I said, 6-7 attacks on turn 1, turn 2. It's not fun. And I don't think it should exist in the game. But I'm always going to play the best deck. So I recognize that this is the best deck, and that the only thing around it is to, I can't beat it. Like, that was the thing. We tried a bunch of different strategies, and we couldn't figure out how to beat this in the week of that we had made it. We tried Vegeta. That was a close option. It was pretty sweet because you get to awaken on 1, and then you could have the energy open for Bean. But it didn't really net any card advantage besides that. And then eventually you'd run out of beams. And what I was talking about before always becomes relevant. Like, all of my cards are cantrips for the most part that I'm trying to play my energy for. So this card replaces a card. This card is critical. Very few cards I play do nothing. One of the cards that underperformed for me, I will say, is this guy. The deck doesn't need SS4 fighting against Fate. If there's a 3-cost Overrealm that you like, I would recommend you go with that. Whether it be the Trunks over the Trunks of Time, I think it is Time Patrol Trunks. Just looking at your top 2, putting 1 into your hand, like, that's not bad. Or something that just like can look at cards and just get card advantage, might be better because Bardock, I don't think, killed a single opponent. You just have so many attacks that, you're trying to go on turn 1. By the time you play Bardock, it just doesn't feel good. So this is definitely on the cut. Like, lower this to 2, lower it to 1. I know there's the one that has critical. That's always a cool one. The double striker. Like, something like that could be fun. I don't know. You try it out. But definitely, this card, not as good. And this is a 2. Magnifique, perfect. Because sometimes you do have to keep an energy up. And you can't commit to the board besides playing like a Vegeta. Just because you know your opponent's going to go very aggressive with one big battle card. And then Death Ball with your leader's ability can really help you save games. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. And hopefully I'll be able to do a 3rd regional win video in a few weeks. It'll be fun. Best of luck. And once again, Bandai, if you somehow see this video, please ban this card right here. This card right here. Bye, guys.